Zimbabwe, 2008. A loaf of bread costs 300 billion Zimbabwean dollars. Not million, billion. By the afternoon, it's 500 billion. The government's printing money so fast they stop putting expiration dates on the bills because they become worthless before the ink even dries. People are carrying cash in wheelbarrows. Trillion-dollar notes are being used as toilet paper because it's literally cheaper than buying actual toilet paper. And here's the question nobody asks. If printing money made countries rich, why the hell did printing money absolutely destroy Zimbabwe? Every poor country on Earth has a central bank. Every central bank has the same basic power: create money. Press a button, add zeros to a screen, boom, more currency in the system. It costs basically nothing to do. So why don't poor countries just print their way out of poverty? Why doesn't Venezuela print dollars? Why doesn't Haiti just triple its money supply and build hospitals? The obvious answer is inflation, but that's not the full picture. Because here's what's weird. Rich countries print money all the time. The US created trillions of dollars after 2008. Japan's been doing it for decades. Europe did it during the pandemic. And their economies didn't collapse into hyperinflation. So the rule isn't printing money is bad. The rule's way more specific. And the difference between when it works and when it absolutely destroys a country comes down to one uncomfortable thing most people don't get: trust. Let's go back to basics. Money is not wealth. Money is a claim on wealth. It's a piece of paper or a number on a screen that says you can exchange this for something real: food, labor, a car, medicine. The value of money depends entirely on whether other people believe that claim's actually real. When a government prints money, it doesn't create wealth. It creates more claims on the same amount of wealth. Imagine you're at a concert. There are 100 seats. The venue prints 100 tickets. Now someone prints 50 more tickets and hands them out. There are still only 100 seats. The tickets didn't create more seats, they just made each ticket worth less. That's inflation. More claims, same wealth. Now here's where it gets darker. In a rich, stable country, when the government prints money, people mostly still trust the currency. Why? Because the economy's productive. There are things to buy. The legal system works. Contracts are enforced. So even when the money supply grows, the economy can absorb it. Production rises, trade continues, the currency stays believable. But in a poor country, that trust is fragile as hell. The economy isn't producing much. Infrastructure's broken, corruption's through the roof. So when the government prints money, people immediately panic. They know there's nothing backing those new bills except a government that's already failing. And the second people stop believing in the currency, the whole thing unravels. Here's the part that doesn't make sense until you actually see it happen. When inflation starts, it doesn't move in a straight line. It spirals. Let's say a government prints money to pay its debts. Prices start going up. Workers demand higher wages because their money buys less. Businesses raise prices to cover the higher wages. The government needs more money to pay those workers, so it prints more. Prices rise even faster. People stop saving in the local currency because it's losing value every single day. They start hoarding goods, or they buy foreign currency, dollars, euros, anything stable. Now the local currency's in free fall. Shops won't accept it. People start bartering. The economy starts running on informal exchange systems because the official money is literally worthless. And at that point, the government's lost control. It's not a policy failure, it's a psychological collapse. This happened in Germany in the 1920s. It happened in Hungary after World War II. It happened in Yugoslavia in the 90s, Zimbabwe in the 2000s, Venezuela right now. The pattern's always the same. The government prints to solve a crisis. The crisis gets worse, so they print more. And the more they print, the faster trust evaporates. Here's the number that'll break your brain. At the peak of hyperinflation in Hungary in 1946, prices were doubling every 15 hours. You could buy a coffee in the morning, and by evening, that same coffee cost twice as much. The currency became so worthless they introduced a new unit called the pengo, then the mil pengo, then the bill pengo. 1 bill pengo was equal to 1 trillion original pengos. It still collapsed. So why can the United States print trillions and not collapse? Why does Japan get away with it? Why did Europe survive quantitative easing? Because people believe the currency will hold value. And that belief isn't random. It's built on decades of institutional credibility, productive economies, and global demand. The US dollar isn't just trusted by Americans, it's trusted by the entire world. Oil's priced in dollars, debt's issued in dollars. Central banks hold dollars as reserves. That creates a feedback loop. Demand for dollars stays high even when supply increases. Poor countries don't have that luxury. Their currencies aren't used internationally. They don't have deep capital markets. They can't borrow cheaply. So when their currency collapses, there's no external cushion. The entire system depends on domestic trust. And if that trust's already weak, printing money is like pouring gasoline on a fire. There's another layer. Poor countries often have to import essentials: food, medicine, fuel. Those imports are priced in foreign currency, usually dollars. So when their own currency collapses, the cost of survival absolutely skyrockets. A country can't print dollars. It can only print its own currency. And if nobody wants that currency, it can't buy what it needs. The economy starves. Rich countries, meanwhile, export high-value goods and services: technology, pharmaceuticals, financial products. The world needs what they produce. So even when they print money, global demand for their currency stays intact. It's not fair, but it's the system. Here's the uncomfortable thing nobody wants to say out loud. The global financial system's designed to keep poor countries poor, not through conspiracy, but through structure. If you're already rich, you can print money and get away with it. If you're poor, printing money destroys you. The tools that help wealthy nations stabilize their economies are the exact same tools that destabilize fragile ones. And it's not just about printing money, it's about everything. Poor countries borrow in foreign currencies, so when their currency drops, their debt explodes. They depend on commodity exports, so when global prices fall, their revenue collapses. They've got weak institutions, so corruption siphons off what little wealth exists. Printing money doesn't fix any of that, it just exposes it faster. Some economists argue that poor countries should print money strategically, use it to build infrastructure, invest in education, stimulate growth. And in theory, that could work. But in practice, governments in crisis don't print money to build schools, they print it to survive the next month, to pay soldiers, to avoid riots. And once that spiral starts, it's almost impossible to stop. So why can't poor countries just print money to get rich? Because money isn't wealth, it's trust, and trust can't be printed. You can create 1 trillion new bills, you can add zeros to every account in the country, but you can't create food, infrastructure, or functioning institutions by printing currency. You can only devalue the claims people already hold. Rich countries get away with printing money because the world believes in them. Poor countries collapse when they try it because the world doesn't. And here's the question that lingers. If the system only works when you're already winning, is it actually a system, or is it just a trap with extra steps? Hey, before you go, if you found this eye-opening, please smash that like button and subscribe. Seriously, it helps more than you know. We're breaking down the stuff they don't teach you in school, so stick around for more. Catch you in the next one.